tell your children not to do
And Colin Thompson, presented by Corona, powered by Davios, and fueled by the IBEW Local 98. Now, it's the Monday Night Countdown to Kickoff. Play some damn football with Mr. Monday, Tony Bruno, and Eitan Shander.
Would have been a big game. Dropped it. That's had a pretty good second half, but ooh, boy.
Live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Made the play and they're in the red zone. They had poor execution in the red zone. It's simple as that. It's like the Saints fans who are upset about the pass interference, which they should have been. But it was in the third quarter. There were still plenty of opportunities for them to win that football game. It is what it is. You can be upset about it, but don't bury Nelson Aguilar. He came back. He made a huge catch. Now again, I'm not saying
Got to make that catch, though.
of course,
no doubt, and
but
he knows it. And
he
everybody
came
knows.
back. A Nelson from maybe a couple of years ago, would he have come back and done well? So his growth has been fantastic, and Doug Peterson talked about it today in the press conference.
Now, John McMullen, you were not one of the guys who took to Twitter and basically want Nelson Aguilar shipped out of the country, out of the world, dropped into the Walt Whitman Bridge, into the ocean. And that's what bothered me, because fans take to Twitter when they're mad about a loss, and we all get angry. I was like, he should have caught it. Did I go outside and start screaming? No, but the fact that people took to Twitter and made themselves look like idiots really, really, really bothered me. As someone who's been around a long time, I get being upset at losses, upset at drop passes, but to do with the level of what people do now over a football game.
It's social media.
Everyone has an outlet. Everyone's got a platform.
Well, exactly
and that
right.
platform is heightened, right? When we tag 97.3, we tag John McMullen, we all like it.
We gotta turn Colin's mic down.
Whoa.
Carson Wentz have the clutch gene. Well, we don't know yet. Well, he looked pretty clutch to me.
Yep.
We already knew.
I know, but people were debating it. He hasn't done in the playoffs. No Super Bowl. Okay, great. Well, what about your backups? Can they perform at a high level in clutch situations? Yeah. Matt Collins came in. Nelson Aguilar played great. Touchdown catch, multiple deep catches. Okay, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. What was the percentage of snaps, John?
He was 93%.
So
he
again,
got thrown right into the game. No reps in practice. As you know, as a former practice squad player, those backup players basically, and that's what we talked about a little bit off air, I don't think the average fan understands. Once you get in the regular season mode, it's all about getting the first team healthy guys prepared for that week's game. That's what everything is geared toward. So if you're a backup player, if you're Matt Collins, if you're J.J. Arcega-Whiteside,
Yes.
it's Arcega now.
I know it is.
You are basically, and I talked to both of them this week, what they were doing is mimicking Julio Jones on the scout team. That was their job for the week. All of a sudden, you have all these injuries. Starts pregame with Dallas Goedert, but then Alshon Jeffrey's out after 6 snaps. Deshaun Jackson plays 11. You got to go in and play.
And it's not even going in play. It's execute the plays that only the first receivers get.
Yeah.
Only the first tight ends get. Only the first quarterback gets. Josh McCown, he runs the practice squad. That's what he does.
Yeah. Well, he's a little bit different because he's 100 and he's the smartest guy in the world.
Again, but when he was in, they ran just a slant out route, and he hit the double, which is fine. He did the right thing. You make the right throw. You execute the plays called. But, again, people don't understand that there is 0 reps to be had. Maybe Alshon will say, hey, listen, young kid, I'm running a go ball here. Hop in, run this go ball, this fly for me. But I'm running the spot route. I'm running this red zone route. Because if I catch the ball in practice, the coaches go in the meeting on Friday and say, okay, what looked good in the red zone today? X, Y, Z. They're in. Who'd they target in the red zone on that 2-point play? Zach Ertz. The only person there's familiarity with in practice every day, because those are rep day to day, and those backups don't get credit. So to me, the backup showed a lot, and we learned a lot more from the loss than we would from the win.
And that's the problem, for those of us who've watched football for a long time, and we know a lot of fans are smart and they know and watch the game. But the thing that people don't understand, it's Carson, did he play great in the first half? No. But he was immediately handicapped, A, by the play calling, and oh, by the way, the offensive line couldn't block, because everybody said, they should run the ball more. The offensive line couldn't block. They didn't have another guy to put in there.
Isaac couldn't block.
But I'm saying they weren't making any holes. I thought they were dominated on both lines of scrimmage. I thought their offensive line couldn't get any kind of run game going, which we talked about yesterday before the game, and their defensive line, until they blitzed, really couldn't get anything going. And then finally, unfortunately, on one blitz, which they showed too early, they paid for it with a touchdown pass. Julio Jones.
Jim talks about that all the time. Everybody wants you to blitz until it doesn't work, and you don't have a safety back.
And there goes Julio.
Exactly.
Which they're running 0. They're bringing pressure. When he checked it, I'm like, oh boy, here comes some sort of something.
And a smart quarterback. It just you knew it was coming. But that was perfect execution, though. Because Jake Matthews gets out, pancake block, just phenomenal job. The athleticism to get out on that particular play. So you do have to occasionally tip your hat to the opponent. They did a really good job. But as far as the offensive line and the running game, which we'll get into, hey, this is going to be maybe a little bit controversial. People aren't going to like this, but maybe these running backs aren't very good. That's my take on it. And especially, I think the Eagles are skipping steps with Miles Sanders. He did not run with conviction.
Yep.
He did not hit the holes that he was supposed to hit. And what does that happen, Colin? If you got a guy who's not hitting the hole, blockers, you tend to reach. And all of a sudden, holding penalties. And there were a ton of them.
When the back bounces it, you can feel your defender start disengaging with your block. That is when you have to accelerate your feet. And if you don't accelerate your feet, that's when players get outside your body, your hands are outside your body, and that's when holding calls are hold.
Now, speaking of moving their feet, Eitan Shander has joined us now. He ran all the way, I think, from the Walt Whitman Bridge up 55, and he's here with us now at Landmark Americana.
It was a combination.
We got to get your mic on first.
Well, I'm at the mercy of. It was a combination. I wasn't running, but technically my feet I was using the Flintstone mobile.
Okay.
But I don't know who should be more embarrassed, me for showing up late or Isaac Seumalo for getting blown back every single snap.
I'm going to call it a push right now.
Okay.
I'm going to call it a push.
I mean, at this point, I don't know who wins. Well, Vegas has even odds.
But, this is what I was saying, Eitan, before you got here.
Before I interrupted, I'm sorry.
And thanks for joining us. But,
thanks, Eitan.
Grady Jarrett is one of the best 4 or 5 defensive tackles in this game. Sometimes I think – we as a fan base, I'm not including us, but the fan base in general, they don't see the context of the rest of the league and say, okay, Isaac Seumalo had a rough day. Not trying to defend him, played really poorly. Maybe you should have expected that because everybody in this league has a rough day when they're trying to block Grady Jarrett.
Yeah, I think it was the ripple effect, and it wasn't just Miles Sanders. They gave the ball. Now, again, I'd like to see more than 8 carries for Jordan Howard, but even the carries that they got, guys, I thought were disrupted because Seumalo kept getting blown back. So you're right, John. When you look at the guy he was going up against, there was no chance, but you have to find a way to help him. Otherwise, you can't keep running the ball directly behind him.
But you know what I will say with that, you go back to last week, Minnesota. They have a worse offensive line. They have a bottom 5 offensive line in this league. They ran all over Atlanta. What's the difference? They have Dalvin Cook. There is no Dalvin Cook here. People think Miles Sanders maybe can. You can't give up on a young player, but it's going to take a while. That's what I talk about, skipping steps. Jordan Howard, for whatever reason, they don't like Jordan Howard. I can't explain it. I think he should get the football more. Darren Sproles is 36 years old. There's no Dalvin Cook here.
They don't like him, huh? So is that fantasy indication moving forward now to sit Miles Sanders? Jordan Howard, pardon me?
What I said
wow.
is if yesterday wasn't a Jordan Howard game, we're not getting a Jordan Howard game.
I don't know about that, though. You don't have your starting receivers then. You don't have the guy taking the top off the offense. You don't have both of your – first off, they only had 2 tight ends dressed, so if one went down, which one did, you're stuck with one. And you use tight ends at a premium in your offense. So to me, the question is there needs to be 3 tight ends active, especially with Goddard. He's been a little banged up. Ertz is in a physical spot. You saw what happened. He wanted to come off the field.
Yep.
And he's like, I can't. There's nowhere else to go. So he was an Iron Man yesterday for sure. But to me, you're going to learn more from a loss than a win, which I've said. But also, you're going to learn about this loss later. How did Atlanta end up? Just like in college football, right? If you beat a good team like Temple beat Maryland, Maryland can't just go and lose like 6 games in a row. Then the Maryland win isn't that impressive, right?
You couldn't wait to get that in. 12 minutes.
No, but seriously. Yeah, sure. I'm proud, and I'm rocking the Temple shirt again today. But my point is this. If Atlanta goes on a run now that Drew Brees is out, all of a sudden they're winning the NFC South and they run away with it. Wow, that tight loss when you're missing a lot of players looks a lot better of a loss instead of, hey, we lost and everybody was ready. So
we're ready. We just get this party started right here. We got 2 hours tonight here at Landmark Americana. We're going to break it down to levels you will not see even in a medical tent, in the blue tent. Although after the show, I may be put into a blue tent in the parking lot.
The thumb.
Do they have those coming? Have you ordered ahead of time?
Yes, I have. It's Tony Bruno, Eitan Shanders here, John McMullen, Colin Thompson, the whole crowd getting you ready for Monday Night Football and breaking it all down live from the Landmark Americana right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Our number.
Should I stayed on the phone? Should have listened to my own mind? You know you can't hold me forever. I didn't sign up for you. I'm not a present for your friends to open. This boy's too young to be singing the blues. You can't
a drop here,
Win a
Josh?
pair of tickets to an Eagles game of your
what I just
choice.
Everybody always wants a blitz, but nobody likes when those deep balls go up against blitz. But we can do a better job in coverage, a little better job in pass rush, and a little better in our overlap in coverage.
We got to do a better job here on Countdown to Kickoff. Monday Night Football here, Landmark Americana.
Seriously.
Glassboro, Mullica Hill adjacent, as we like to say.
Adjacent.
Mullica Hill adjacent.
Is that a separate zip code?
Was that?
Is that a separate zip code? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, it is a separate zip code, but
Yeah.
you can say you live in Glassboro or you can say you live in Mullica Hill. You're right on that borderline there.
The adjacent, though, I didn't know how that factors into zip
That's
codes.
usually like if you want to think like you're rich and you have horses and stuff, you live in Mullica Hill. You have a farm.
That's very true.
You got some acreage, you're in Mullica Hill.
But Glassboro has Corey Clement.
Exactly
He's the
right.
mayor
So
of
that's why
Glassboro.
you claim. Well,
Yeah.
my property is broken up into 3 separate. I had to claim when
Three separate
townships are
really?
running through. Yeah.
Well, that's easy.
They
You
made me
you
claim.
pick the lowest taxes,
Yeah.
and that's who you claim.
Exactly right.
That's easy.
Eitan Chandra, Tony Bruno,
I
John
take the
McMullen,
fifth.
and the great Colin Thompson breaking it down here. And obviously a lot of people still talking about the Eagles game, and they will all week. Because what else are they going to talk about here in Philadelphia? Not the Phillies.
No.
Not the Flyers. The Flyers are getting underway. But the things we've been
Sixers.
talking about, Sixers, but they're not getting underway.
Nice signing for the Flyers today, Travis Konechny.
Travis Konechny, 6 years. And then Markell Fultz re-ups with your Orlando Magic.
Nobody's worked out
Would they pick up his option?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's got a $12 million no-show job.
He's my hero.
He is.
This is like out of The Sopranos when they were working the construction site.
He's
Where's
my
your
hero.
office?
Seriously.
Tony goes in his office at the Waste Management. It's like computers everywhere.
You know where Markel's office is? The local Chick-fil-A.
Exactly.
So's
That's true.
Joel Embiid's too, though.
That's a
true.
true
That's
story.
the problem.
I
That's
used
the
to know
problem.
the general manager down there at the Chick-fil-A in South Philly on
Yeah.
Delaware Avenue, Columbus Boulevard. Markell was in there all the time.
Is that right?
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong. That's quality product.
Well, no, it didn't impact his diet. Not at all.
Maybe
it's only
pick-
impacting Embiid's diet, apparently.
Hopefully he's able to move his shoulder and start shooting. Listen, I'm not rooting against the kid, but he was a number 1 overall pick, and you just can't miss on those.
What was that shoulder problem, the exact thing? What was it called?
It was called between the brain.
The yips. It's called the yips. Happens in golf all the time.
No, there's a Thank you, Josh. A
They created
thoracic outlet syndrome. Now, how many? And you hear about diagnosis shopping in sports all the time.
Yes.
How many doctors you got to go to get somebody to sign off on thoracic outlet syndrome?
Wasn't that one of the movies with the dinosaurs and stuff?
Yeah.
Thoracic Syndrome Park? I think that's the next one, the 6th reboot of the Jurassic Park era, the Thoracic Park.
Don't worry, Jeff Goldblum will be in it. That's what we know.
Now, of course, people still going crazy, but the bottom line is this, guys, and everybody knows this. They got 2 games in 11 days. And so while everybody's wondering about whether Deshaun Jackson should have, could have, would have, if it was a playoff game, he would have gone in there, John. We were talking about this earlier. It's a playoff game, everybody plays. You know, if you can walk, you play. So they weren't ready. And now Doug says something today at the noon press conference about, if it was a playoff, well, we really want to put them in a position. Isn't it smart not to play them, especially with a groin, when your guy is a speed guy, and you got 2 more games coming up? But the people out there, they're like, well, why you got to play these guys? You got to play. If his groin gets worse and you miss him for a month, then what?
Yeah, you got to be cautious, and it's understandable. Anytime you're talking about a soft tissue injury with a thoroughbred, so to speak, you want to be really, really careful, because what could be a 2-3 week injury turns into half a season. We saw with Darren Sproles last year with a hamstring. All of a sudden he's out for 10 weeks. That's how quickly that stuff can sort of blow up. So I have no problem with them being cautious with those types of players.
Now, of course, we got action tonight. We'll get to the NFL game, but Drew Brees with the thumb. Now they're saying 6 weeks.
Yep.
And obviously the situation in Pittsburgh, Mason Rudolph is going to be the quarterback. The Jets have signed a quarterback as a backup tonight. What's this kid's name they just signed today?
Who cares?
Does it really matter if you're the Jets?
He's
poor
not better
Jetson.
than the guy that's sitting in for Mr. Mono. So
Trevor Siemian.
Trevor Siemian's going to start, but
Broncos.
they picked up a guy today Jeff Flake, something like that.
Not Jeff Blake.
Not Jeff Blake. No, Jeff Flake.
Luke Falk?
Luke Falk.
Yeah.
That's who
No,
it
he
was.
was-
Washington State.
Yeah, he was
Somebody
with them
cheated
in,
and looked
in
that
the
up.
preseason. No, he was with them in the preseason. Unfortunately, I was up there for the 4th preseason game. I saw a lot of Luke Falk. Too much Luke Falk.
Really?
Yeah.
We know
You got your fill, huh?
John
I got my fill.
McMullen does not like the preseason.
Who does?
Well, I had to watch Luke Falk. Can you
People,
blame me?
and my thing with the preseason is fans, media invest and are ready for football so much that they put the preseason on a pedestal where the regular season is. So to me, it's still great. It's got football on. It's sloppy. You're seeing guys you saw in college, or you're seeing these kids from Division III getting opportunities. I take it for what it's worth in that sense. Now, in the sense of, there's gonna be equivalency to the preseason to the regular season. No, but I think people jump in that head first. And again, we don't need to talk preseason 30 more seconds. I'm done with it. But if you jump in head first in the preseason, you're going to be upset. It's a different environment, different product.
No, I agree with that. And my only point, we're done with the preseason talk, is from a coaching standpoint, it's changed. That's all I bring out to people. It used to be very important where teams under the old CBA had the time to prepare. There were 2-a-days, Tony.
Yeah.
You remember 2-a-days.
Absolutely.
And they had all this time. You could be at the facility. Now, everything's been scaled back. You only have 10 padded practices for the entire regular season. That's all they have. So coaches have sort of made this cost-benefit analysis that says, all right, I can't prepare like I want to anyway, so I want to get to week 1 as healthy as possible.
Yeah, but think about it, and I'm not countering nor even justifying, just more the observation, which is everybody's at the same disadvantage to some extent. So you'd like talent to take over when it's chaos, when there's jailbreaks out there, when things don't go to plan, when somebody goes down. And I think that's the frustrating element of last night, which is you still have a top 3, worst case scenario, top 3 tight end in football. You know, you've got other guys that you can throw to, an Aguilar who before last night was at least mentally there in games. And you've got a bunch of running backs, including Darren Sproles, who for some reason disappeared.
And then dropped the ball after Aguilar dropped the ball on what would have been a first down. So it was not a good night for the backup guys, except, we mentioned earlier, we were talking about this, because obviously, Colin knows about the training camp thing, about the regular week preparation. Their preparation is with the first team guys. It's with Deshaun. It's with those guys. Now, all of a sudden, all that goes out the window, as you were talking about earlier, Colin. That goes out the window as soon as you start losing your 2 main weapons as wide receivers.
So once you move on from the previous week, right, you watch film Monday, say the game Sunday, you watch film Monday. Off Tuesday, you get your rehab, you get your lift, whatever it may be. You come in Wednesday, it's first down, period, and second and short. That's the emphasis. Then you come in Thursday, it's third down. Then you come in Friday, it's red zone. Saturday, you walk through. So it's as simple as that, where it's broken down. So Alshon, hey, it's first down. We got 4 routes you're running on first down this week. They're 4 different plays. Again, our base offense is in. But on top of that, we have the particulars, right? And that's what you're running. So the particulars for this game went out the window. So to me, because you can't run those plays with the guys, they're repping the scout team. Another issue that the CBA, the NFL, the NFLPA need to figure out, there's not enough people to practice. When I was with the Chicago Bears, I'm a tight end. I've been a tight end my whole career. I played defensive end in high school. Great. I was giving defensive end looks to the starting tackle.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Running up the field. That is not realistic. The practice squad needs to get bigger. The active roster needs, in my opinion, needs to go to 60. Let alone, it doesn't give the guys enough reps. You got Mac Hollins playing corner to give Carson Wentz a look. That's not real. There's not enough practice squad corners. And those starters, like I said, they get all the reps. And when they're tired or they're done, or Coach Peters says, hey, I want you to run 4 routes today and that's it, I need you fresh, that's all you get. So kudos to them. Again, I think they learned a ton this week, because guys like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Mac Hollins, and Nelson, who had to be the number 1 receiver, all stepped up and made big plays.
Yeah, I don't want Nelson as the number 1 receiver anymore.
But why not? He dropped 1 ball. He caught a touchdown.
I mean, you got to be realistic. On this team.
Again, I understand that. But if you have a backup that can come in and do what he did, let's see here. 8 catches, I believe, for 107, 13.4 and a TD.
And imagine what it could have been.
But still, right, it could have been even more. But that's your backup. That goes to show you the depth of
Oh,
this team.
no, I mean,
Aguilar's a
Eagles,
starting
yeah,
slot.
he's a starter.
I know, but that's
Eagles
he
use
became
11
a number
personnel 65% of the time. So Nelson Aguilar is a starter.
And if it's
conventional-
12
But we're talking about a moment, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the thing. There's no consistency with Nelson Aguilar. When you're talking about star players in this league, Nelson has all the talent in the world. He does not catch the football consistently. He'll make a great play, and he'll drop an easy one. And the great receivers, I covered Chris Carter in Minnesota, and I kid you not, he did not drop a football all season in practice, never mind a game.
Yeah.
Now, that's one
We're
of the
talking
great
about practice here now?
not a game.
That's one of the
Hey,
great,
but it translates over.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the great hands players. I mean, he had best hands I've ever seen. But the great receivers in this league catch the football consistently. That is why Nelson's on the final year of his rookie deal, why he didn't get an extension, because the consistency is not there. He's got all the talent in the world, always open, tremendous separation, but he just doesn't catch it consistently.
And again, I understand. I'm not saying he's a true number one. I'm just saying for your guy who's your third receiver, and really Goddard would be the choice over him in a lot of cases.
I'm fine with that.
So to come in as the fourth receiver and perform the way he did, I thought was a kudos to how the team's built, and I think you've learned a ton. And again, we'll see what this loss means. But the skill guys came in and performed at a high level.
And remember, even after he drops the touchdown, he gets the 4th and 14. And if Carson gets that 2-point conversion because they changed the rule and said he gave himself up, they don't even need that. They need a field goal there, and they win that game. So there were so many different things that happened last night that could have gone either way.
I would have taken the touchdown, though.
I would have taken the touchdown, too, but you still had a chance to win if the Carson 2-point conversion is good.
Yeah.
And they hadn't changed the rule because he gave himself up and he put his knee down before the ball
Are you
crossed
saying
the goal.
that we knew Nelson Aguilar was, who we thought he was?
No, I'm just
Let
saying.
him off the hook.
A lot of things were
Sounds
left
like
off the
Colin
hook.
let him off the hook.
Yes,
No.
he did. We're coming back. We're live here at Landmark Americana. It's Monday Night Football, the countdown to kickoff. We will break down the Jets in Cleveland, but they pretty much have broken themselves down after week one. So we'll try to put them back together, figure that out with Mr. Monday Night, and more football talk, lots of injuries. Stay with us. We're here live on 97.3 ESPN.
When the sun comes up on a sleepy little town down around San Antonio, and the folks are rising for another day, round about their home. The people of the town are strange.
eBay before you pay too much for that thing you love. And get exactly what you want for a price that works for you.
Richard Sherman would kill him.
When you're overpaying, get it on eBay.
I was in the United States Army for 12 years, and if we had a stressful time.
I get the feeling you owe. There is no sense in pretending. Your eyes give you away. Something inside you is feeling like I do. You said all there is to say. Baby, break down. Go ahead, give it to me. Break down, honey, take me through the night. Break down, now it's spinning here. Can you see? Break down, it's alright.
Heart of South Jersey, it's Tony Bruno and Eitan Shander. Get to the Landmark and you could win a pair of tickets to an Eagles game of your choice.
Well, I love Doug, but let it be said, I go for the 3 right here, and just with this much time left, and the way they've been moving the football. Wentz back, Wentz looks, has time, fires, complete, touchdown, Doug's right. Nelson Aguilar in the back of the end zone. Doug is absolutely right.
You're funny. You're so funny.
Yeah, a lot of people were wondering, you go for 3 here or you go for the touchdown? Doug Peterson always goes for it on 4th down, and especially in that situation, because you don't know if you're going to stop the Falcons. You're going to keep blitzing and wearing guys out. We're live here at Landmark Americana. Lots of news going on around the league, too. And that, of course, is Jalen Ramsey. We saw the ugly scene on the sideline. Yeah. How long things are going to really implode, unfortunately, in Jacksonville sooner than later, are they not, John McMullen?
Yeah, I mean, there's already talk he could be traded this week. That's anytime you get in a fight with the head coach, whether it's shoving match, argument, you got to move on from that situation. So this is going to move quickly, I have a feeling. And anytime there's a big name, we were just talking about it, everybody wants him on the Eagles. Minka Fitzpatrick, bring him in.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon, bring him in. Jadavian Clowney, I just told they're going to rescind the trade and bring him in.
Apparently, Minka Fitzpatrick and Jalen Ramsey have never bid on double routes in the history of their respective careers, so it's time to bring them in.
Minka would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, well, he's versatile.
It would make a lot more sense, especially another thing, too, is the Eagles are starting to cut checks, right? Just like the Cowboys. They're cutting a lot of checks to a lot of big people. His rookie contract's a lot longer. Jalen Ramsey, you got to pay him next year, really. He's going to be a $13 million cap hit.
He brought the Brinks truck, remember?
Literally.
Yes.
Yeah.
At training camp, the opening day.
So what team?
But, boy, after watching these corners in the first 2 weeks, it'd be nice to have Jalen Ramsey.
Really?
Nice to have John Ramsey at this point.
It's almost like quarterback at this point, right? It's either you're a top 15 guy and the rest of them are kind of like, or you're like a top 15 corner and the rest of them are kind of like, Like, it's just a drop. There's such a drop-off.
There is.
Right? There's like 10 guys you're like stud. Okay, I don't know. So, be interesting to see.
He's in the stud category.
Of course. Of course.
Yes.
That guy's in the conversation for being the best corner in the NFL.
But he's a diva corner, though. That's the problem. You know, you have diva wide receivers.
Hey, that's Doug's strength, dealing with personalities. That is his strength.
It's the Eagles' strength to an extent, right?
Well, I think it wasn't when Chip was here, but it is now. I think as a whole, Andy Reid as well was very good with players. So pretty much through the Jeffrey Lurie era, except for the one hiccup of Chip Kelly, yeah, they've been, and that's why this has become sort of a destination place for NFL players. I think that's fair to say.
Unless they're going to the Patriots, because they always need more help.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I say they're not
Players
the gold
that need help.
standard. They're the silver standard.
It's a
but
different.
I think it's fair.
And I think with the Eagles, you can get a multi-year contract. You're not going to get a multi-year contract from New England. If you play well, you're too expensive. If you don't play well enough, maybe we'll let you go somewhere else, let you get cut, then we'll re-sign you back.
We'll bring you back.
Yeah.
The Patriots they're playing 3D chess, and everybody else.
And by the way, as far as the AFC, we're only through 2 weeks, obviously including tonight's game. Neither one of these teams is going to the playoffs, I don't think. But even if they were,
giving up Cleveland already?
No, but I'm saying, are they going to be a contender for the Super Bowl?
I don't think so.
No, so my point is,
they can get better.
Although
they'll get
Pittsburgh
better.
is out. I mean, we know Pittsburgh is out.
Yeah, and my point is, right now,
I like Mason
it's
Rudolph.
Kansas City and the New England Patriots. and everybody else in the AFC.
It is.
2 weeks in, and who's going to compete against the Kansas City Chiefs or the New England Patriots? The Cleveland Browns?
No, there's only one team.
The Houston Texans, maybe, but
the only team that you could look at and would have to be a perfect storm of defense and just you can't prepare and you just have to react would be if Lamar Jackson is able to compete at a high, not this level, but at a high level.
If the game's in Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, and plus, look what happened this week, guys. Look what happened in New Orleans. Look what happened to Pittsburgh. This is week 2. There's a lot of guys who might go down between now and the end of the season, and that will shift the landscape. So right now, looks like Chiefs and Patriots, and maybe in the NFC, Rams and
Cowboys,
Packers,
Eagles.
I think the Packers are a really team to watch in the NFC.
Boy, I don't think
offense is only going to get better though.
But
and
their
defense is loaded with players.
They should have lost yesterday. That was just an awful throw by Kirk. If they just run the football, Vikings win that game. Chicago, that defense completely shut them down. I think that's one of those 2-0 teams where they're going to come back to the mean really, really quickly.
So you're saying you're not a Mitch Trubisky guy? You're not all in and
Colin.
Maybe it's Mitchell. Maybe he knows him.
I don't want to speak for Colin. Colin can speak on Mitchell Trubisky. I'll let him have the floor.
So I play with Mitch Chicago, and it's tough for me when we do this because he's a friend. I mean, this is a guy I was at a wedding with, a month before the season. He's a great guy. And I brought it up on a podcast. I think Mitch has a lot of traits of Carson Wentz, and everyone freaked out. I'm like, listen, I'm not saying he's Carson Wentz. Is he athletic? Is he tough? Does he throw the football on the run? Is he a good leader? All 4 of those things. Now, Carson Wentz is one of 2 quarterbacks in the league that I think that are freakish, that are a whole other level, and that's him and Patrick Mahomes. Do I think Mitch has qualities of a great quarterback? Yes. Has he lived up to them at this moment? No. He has not performed with that team around him. Can it happen? It happened last year against the Bucs. He threw for 6 touchdowns and lit it up. Now, to start the year, it has not. But the Bears are a team that are loaded. Now, they have a tough schedule, great home field advantage. They're a team to watch. I do think the Packers are a team to watch. Again, it's week 2. The Eagles just lost. People are ready to jump off to Walt Whitman. Time will tell. It's a long season, like John said.
I don't think you take the Eagles out of any conversation.
No, not at all.
What I'd be interested, though, to see with Chicago is, to your point about can he do it, I don't think that this is a commit scenario. Where
it is not.
If they're not going to pay Mitch. They've got a team where you could just draft another guy at this point, because at some point Trubisky, you're going to walk that line of having to pay him, make a decision on him.
Yeah.
I can't see the Bears, especially with the team around him, paying him that way.
Now, Colin needs to be political because that's his friend.
That's why I said it.
I don't need to be political. He's not a good quarterback. He's not a good starting quarterback in this league. He's a tremendous athlete, but he's not a quarterback.
I remember sitting at the NFL draft up in the Art Museum steps doing my show from there the night, and I had all these Chicago reporters around me. And when Mitch Trubisky's name came up, every single one of them was like, what? And certainly, we could all say, well, if they had only known, pretty much everybody knew the other guys behind.
Correct.
I know Mahomes, we've talked about him before. Mahomes, to me, you pass up on a Patrick Mahomes or the other guys who were available after Mitch Trubisky. Deshaun Watson. I know we can say, well, it's easy to say now. I think it was easy to say then.
I don't think Mahomes was easy. In fact,
he was tough.
Andy got a lot of criticism for going up as far as he did and giving up as much as he did. Patrick Mahomes had a lot of mechanical issues in college. And Andy Reid is maybe the best coach in this league when it comes to developing quarterbacks. And I think he's developed him. I think in a different situation, maybe Patrick Mahomes isn't Patrick Mahomes.
Sure. But if you're known for fixing up jalopies,
well, that's the thing.
You got a Benz that just needs a new tire.
I go all the way back to Donovan McNabb, guys. Think about that draft.
Were you booing him there that day at Madison Square Garden?
I thought that was the right pick. I thought that was the right pick.
Do we have the drop, number 5?
John
Always love you.
was there. It was the dirty 31.
But think about who was it? Achilles Smith.
Yeah.
I forget some of the other quarterbacks. Tim Couch was that year as well.
That's right.
Think about if one of those guys goes with Andy Reid, Donovan goes to Cleveland or Cincinnati. What happens? I mean, fit and where you go is a part of success as well.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, John. And again, I remember seeing Pat Mahomes at a Super Bowl the year he was eligible for the draft. And I met him. I met his family. You know, his history, his story with his dad, who was a pitcher. I met him. Yeah. I met his family, and I could see just by talking to the kid then. He hadn't even been drafted. Remember, this is the Super Bowl of the draft year of Pat Mahomes and company, and you could see from this kid he was just sharp. He's focused. He's been around athletes his whole life. He knows what it's like. He can handle the pressure, and he's a good leader. So all the other stuff, and he's a physical specimen. So you had all the intangibles there just by talking. And Lee Steinberg's his agent, and Lee said to me, you know, I'm the quarterback guy. I had all these great guys over the years. I've been looking for my next great one. He said, this is the next great one. And there's no doubt that Patrick Mahomes is going to be the next great one.
And Put him with Andy Reid, absolutely.
And no question. And I think your personality has a lot to do with it. Obviously, the talents there are great. But to be great one, Tom Brady, whatever, the list goes on. The personality, Carson Wentz, you have to have the moxie. You have to have the wittiness. And Mahomes being around, growing up and around professional sports, and not just like Kansas City Royals or the Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Yankees. There's something to that, and it makes him a star. And he's made Kansas City. You're watching Kansas City. It's a small market. They're a real team to watch, and it's really because of him. Obviously, Andy Reid, but because
this would be the year, too, that he would regress, right? Following his first real.
You would think.
That was an opportunity yesterday. Yeah, but yesterday you're down. Were they now 10-0 at one point?
Yeah, 10-0, and they scored 28 straight. And he throws 4 touchdowns.
There was a doubt. Yeah.
He threw 4 touchdowns in the second quarter alone in that game. Unbelievable. Lot more coming up. Right here, we're live. It's Monday night. Countdown to kickoff. Jets and your Cleveland Browns tonight. Odell Beckham does not have a watch. Oh, he has a watch on in warm-ups.
Look at that. It looks plastic.
It does. He's on the watch list tonight. We'll keep an eye on the watch. At the Meadowlands. We're live right here. It's Tony Bruno. It's Eitan. It's John McMullen. It's Colin Thompson. It's Countdown to Kickoff 97.3 ESPN and on the Twitch app, too.
Hour number 1 of the Monday.
Mullica Hill adjacent. Beautiful night for football here. And guess what, guys? Remember last week what we did here? We gave away 2 Salute to the Troops Eagles camo jerseys. Remember that?
I do remember, yes.
So everybody in the bar, the people who won last week, they got to come back this week and then maybe get a better chance to go to Green Bay, because next week, next Monday night, we will select from all the people who have qualified and won their Eagles jerseys, and of course, get a chance to go to Green Bay. But wait, not only are you going to Green Bay, we got the tickets at Lambeau Field. There's more, as there always is on this show.
Oh, wow.
It's not just on late night infomercials where you're here, but wait, there's more.
No, I thought that's all we were doing, is sending somebody
No,
to Green
not
Bay.
only are we going to send 2 people and give them 2 seats to Lambeau Field on the Thursday night game, they will also now get hotel accommodations in Green Bay.
No.
Yes.
That's
Which
breaking
is hard to
news.
come by.
I know it
Very
is.
hard to come
You got to
by.
go to Appleton to get action out there.
Live in Chicago. Go to Chicago.
That's too far.
That's what I was going to say.
It's
I
like
thought
3
it was
hours.
Is
I'm
it
kidding,
Appleton or Green Bay?
No, there's not many hotels in Green
Green
Bay.
Bay
You got to go to
adjacent.
Appleton, Wisconsin. That's where the players
Green Bay
stay.
adjacent.
Green Bay adjacent. Appleton, nice little town, good bars, good vibe.
What's the population of Appleton?
I don't know, like the population of Glassboro probably.
Okay.
There's probably more people here tonight than there are in Appleton. Good people there, though. But anyway, so not only are you going to win tickets to Green Bay, you're also going to get tickets and hotel accommodations.
In Appleton.
But you have to be here tonight. So everybody who's here at Landmark Americana will get a ticket. You hold on to that ticket stub, and then 2 people will be drawn, and they will get the Eagles jerseys. We got a Carson Wentz salute to the troops,
Right.
and we've got a Zach Ertz Philadelphia Eagles camo jersey.
I
was a
saw
warrior
the tweets
last night.
week of the winners put up there. Joe Kraus put the winners up there. They look pretty thrilled.
They were thrilled. Wouldn't you be thrilled?
Absolutely.
Just to win a jersey for coming out to Monday Night Football here.
And we're giving away Army Navy yesterday.
Yes, Army Navy
Joe
tickets.
Manjo's. I mean, that's-
exactly. You're not getting better prizes than this anywhere.
No.
Absolutely not.
Not on the prices. On the Price is Right, you normally lose.
This
you
is
get
the
all
equivalent
excited, you run
right.
up on the stage, and then what? You go home with nothing.
The
No,
price is
parting
wrong.
gift.
Bitch.
The price is wrong, Bob. The
go off
price
that-
is wrong, Bob.
You go off that clip. What game is that? That's my favorite Price is Right
Cliffhanger.
game.
That's Price is Right.
Cliffhanger,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
With the yodeler.
Yes.
Absolutely right.
No, The Price is Right was in the movie, the golf movie.
No, right. We're confusing two different things at the same time. Billy Madison.
Right, is where he said, where Adam Sandler says, the price is wrong.
No, it's not Billy Madison. Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore,
sorry.
that's right.
But John McMullen actually brought up a real game on The Price is Right. The yodeler.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Thank
I'm
you,
a
sir.
Plinko stick, my guy. My
Plinko's
guy.
I
You know,
have no idea what you're
Plinko's
talking about
oversaturated. They made a game based off of Plinko. Like, you can't do a spin-off game show off of The Price is Right. It's not Cheers. You can't go Frasier off Cheers and
So
make a
Plinko is a separate game
Yeah,
now?
they made a separate game. I don't know. It's not called Plinko, I don't think.
I think
but
it is Plinko.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's even worse.
That is worse.
Speaking of that, that's my favorite sound, of course, is... Oh, it's not playing now?
Yeah.
There it is.
Give him one of those.
Give him one of those. By the way, somebody sent me, one of our listeners, Scrapple Joe, sent today in a package from Amazon a beautiful black mug, and it says Tony Bruno on Twitch on the front and on the back. It's a picture of Miss Robin, and it says right under her, give her one of those.
Oh, wow.
So that's the thing now. When somebody messes up or
Yeah.
makes a mistake, we give her one of those, which is the Price is Right sounder.
Yeah, there's not a more synonymous sound of you just lost and, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That's
embarrass
the quintessential
yourself
you lose
Yeah.
sound, is it not?
So when Nelson dropped that ball last night,
Give
you
him
won
one
the
of those.
prize.
You give one of those.
Absolutely.
And then you go on Twitter and basically call for the guy's destruction and dismemberment.
Now, what was the drop you hit when he caught it on 4th and 14?
I had Oprah.
Yeah.
Oprah was going wow, wow, wow.
And then Ertz got one after that.
And
You
then,
get a car.
And then Ed McMahon went, "Hi-oh." Anyway, now we're up to date on all the sounds and sights and sounds of Monday night countdown here live in Glassboro. We got a little food for the table. Everybody's noshing on the,
Absolutely.
that's the landmark. What is that called now?
Sampler.
The sampler.
Yeah.
Sampler.
The
sampler.
landmark sampler.
So you got the Old Bay fries in there. You got some chicken strips, and you got 3 quesadillas.
And homemade honey mustard, which is out of this world. Shout out to the great Harry Donahue for tuning in. Temple play-by-play.
Oh, I love Harry Donahue.
Harry said he's watching on Twitch, watching me stuff my face. Harry, you're the best. Huge win for the Owls this weekend. Another plug for our Owls, Eitan. Me and Harry, very happy.
Yes. Absolutely. Hey, listen, I'm a Temple guy. What do I look like? Chopped liver here?
Well, you're not,
I go back to Harry Litwack, pal.
My bad.
I go back
Tony
to
Bruno, Colin Thompson, Harry Mays.
Jeez.
Pete Thompson.
Pete Thompson.
Can we get that drop, please?
Josh has it.
Are you ready for the football?
I don't know. Well, we just did 1 hour here. But guess what, kids? We got 1 more hour to break stuff
Pete
down.
Thompson.
No, not Pete Thompson. Not John Thompson or John Thompson III.
No, not at all.
Are you ready for
They
some
got those guys out of there. The
And
John
not the great
Thompson show.
And not the great David Thompson.
No.
NBA
20
superstar.
seconds.
Skywalker.
Exactly
Nowhere
right.
near that level. Not Milt Thompson either, right?
No, exactly. Not a bad player sometimes. Good hit coach.
Scapegoated.
Too. Meanwhile, we're coming back. We're
10
live
seconds.
at Landmark Americana. Tony Bruno, Eitan Shander, John McMullen, Colin Thompson.
5,
Live.
4.
We're coming
3,
back. We'll break down
2,
Monday night to and give you a
1.
winner. Stick around.
The Monday Night Football.
can't relate to confrontations with pirates, we get that life comes with risk, but retirement shouldn't. That's why Dr. Ben purchased an annuity to secure a protected income stream for the rest of his life. Find out more at retireyourrisk.org. Brought to you by the Alliance for Lifetime Income, the sole sponsor of the 2019 Rolling Stones No Filter U.S. Tour.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the 76ers.
Joel Embiid crashes in with a slam.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. It's the Monday Night Football Countdown to Kickoff Show with Tony Bruno.
I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it.
On 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
And Mr. Monday Night is here.
Live from the Landmark Americana in Glassboro.
And that's an outrage.
Featuring Eagles and NFL insider John McMullen and Colin Thompson. Presented by Corona. Powered by Davios. And fueled by the IBEW Local 98. Now, it's the Monday Night
audio
Countdown
cut here.
to Kickoff.
Let's play some damn football.
With Mr. Monday Night, Tony Bruno, and Eitan Shander.
It is what it is. You know, there's no excuses we had a chance. You know, we had a chance to win the game. Obviously, the coach will decide all that, but I think no matter what it was, I think for me, I made some mistakes that could have put us in position to win it, to be honest. And, you know, it's tough, but, you know, we'll watch the tape. I know I will. And I want to learn a lot from this tape because I hate this feeling.
Yes, indeed. We are live here. Live at the Landmark Americana. You know, we're a little over an hour away from, guys. It's something that used to be a really, really big deal. I mean, it still is to a lot of people. In the New York metropolitan area, it is Monday Night Football, Metropolitan Stadium. No, that's Sunday night. Let me give you Monday night.
We just had that. That ended poorly.
Yeah, that didn't end well.
I don't want Sunday night again.
No, I don't. I've been waiting all day for Monday night.
Right, absolutely.
And it's Tony Bruno, it's Eitan Shander, it's John McMullen, it's Colin Thompson, counting you down to the kickoff in an hour away. This is a tough game. I will release a pick. In fact, my picks are now already posted. Go to TonyBrunoShow.com and click on the pick, and we will release it. Last week, I gave some picks, and people were doubting. I said the Raiders, and you said no. No.
I said no. I went against Mr. Monday Night like
I
a
told
fool.
you, man.
I faded Mr. Monday Night.
You faded. Mr.
Like
Monday Night faded himself later that night, so that's okay.
So it was a push.
Anyway, we got a lot of good fun coming up this hour. We're still marinating in yesterday's Eagles loss in the Sunday night game. We talked about how difficult it is when you lose players. But you know what the problem is, guys, when you mention that? As you break it down as practice, you have the guys running their plays, the first team offense, and then you say that, you know what you hear? Oh, that's just an excuse.
Yeah.
That's just a lame excuse.
Or they make this much money, they should be able to do that. That drives me up a wall. Listen, after the first day of work, I'll be honest with you, I've been there. You don't even, you've done it your whole life. It doesn't, I'm making X now. I got to work harder? What? Continue to do your job.
Exactly.
Just catch the damn ball. That's all I ask. Right, that's it.
I'm happy he showed up later on.
You're right about the excuse part, but it's not an excuse.
No, it's legitimate.
It's
you don't
an
plan for injuries.
It's not an excuse. When you lose, think about it this way. That's what I said on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill earlier. Think about it. You're the Atlanta Falcons, and you lose Austin Hooper pregame. You lose Julio Jones. You lose Calvin Ridley. Is it going to affect you?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley really won them the game. Their ability to get deep. I mean, the Eagles secondary was beaten 3 times in this game. They only cashed in on 1.
It was all Darby.
Yep.
And the second part, Tony, is, look, this week it's not an explanation because if you don't have Alshon Jeffrey, if you don't have Deshaun Jackson, if you don't have Dallas Goedert, you're going to know that in practice.
Yep.
So you're going to get the other guys ready. And at least the game plan is going to be there for those guys. That's the difference. Not an excuse, just an explanation of what happened.
I think I'd feel better about that if they got blown out or if they got out-coached and dismantled. But I think the fact that everything was so close shows you, and I know that there's talk about resilience and fight and the fact that they claw, but for me, and this is why I get frustrated with this game, it shows that they're talented. Not a lot of teams are talented enough to overcome that and beat teams on a weekly basis in the NFL. And I feel like the Eagles, especially on offense, guys, you're not asking much with who was left. And I get it. Everything gets disrupted, but you're not asking a lot with who's left. This is not the Oakland Raiders. This is not the Miami Dolphins, or even a middle-of-the-road team. Like, hell, this isn't even Cleveland. This is a team that should have beaten the Atlanta Falcons, in my opinion, even with those guys down.
I disagree.
In that spot, it's harder. It's not week 8. It's not in Philadelphia. I understand. But here's the thing. I had someone – I'm driving up here from Cape May, and I'm listening to the Gill Show, who was at the Barefoot Beach Bar, Marquis de Lafayette in Cape May, which is an awesome place. If you have a chance to go down and check it out, sweet. But some guy called in. I believe he said something along – or I just heard something that, I'm frustrated with Howie Roseman. Somebody called in, or I just heard something. I'm like, wait, frustrated that he didn't put the players on the field. Their top 3 targets couldn't play.
Exactly.
And everyone else came in and performed at an extremely high level, overperformed than what their ceiling is, in my opinion. So, listen, if I told you the Eagles took the ball away 3 times, which ended up being a push in the turnover battle, they were 50% on third down, which is really the goal, to Atlanta's 30. They had 5 trips to the red zone to Atlanta's 2, and they had time of possession 33 minutes to Atlanta's 27. You would say Eagles.
Yep.
All the way. So they played great, and they finished the game really, on the 8-yard line, knocking at the door. For what they had, they overachieved. It goes to show you the guts those guys have, and to me, those guys got more out of that with the loss. Like, wow, you know what? We can do this. And Carson said, I don't care if I lose a receiver. Any of these guys stepped up. John and I talked about it yesterday on the show. There's going to be a new receiver at the top of that list every week with the most catches and most yards. And it would happen to be Nelson Aguilar. Yeah. So to me, it's next man up, and that's credit to Howie and that staff because they've built a great roster where they can bring next man up.
But did the next man really step up?
What?
Mac Hollins and these other guys?
They were consistent. They moved the ball down the field.
Matt Collins made that great catch it wasn't a great catch. He was there ready to make the catch.
Well,
when Knee almost went down and he got him the ball.
Right. Carson Wentz is making plays.
But he still has to make that catch.
Yes, and that's I think where Carson Wentz is really at the mercy of guys around him that you saw. It wasn't so much. My point would be I would credit Carson first,
of course,
before I credit the wide receiver.
I agree with that.
No question.
And that's a great point. We forget about how great Carson played in that second half.
That's my point.
We do need to talk about that because he played better the more he got hit. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like the more he got hit.
Well, I think he's one of those guys once he gets into the game. I mentioned off air, the first comparison was Brett Favre. And I think that fits because Brett in his prime, and Tony, you will remember, occasionally he would come up hyped, he'd be inaccurate, he'd throw the football high, and then he was so talented. He would just wear on you. You could play good defense for 2 quarters, 3 quarters. Eventually he was going to get you.
Yep.
And that's what happens with Carson Wentz.
100% agree.
It might be an extension of a play. You play great defense, great, and there's the Houdini play. And you're like, oh, here they come.
And remember this, guys. The Atlanta Falcons played a great defensive game. They weren't missing any tackles. The play on Zach Ertz, it was a yard short, but they still had to push him back to make sure he didn't get that one little extra push to get the first down.
No question. And the strength of the Eagles' offense and their team has been their offensive line, arguably their best group, their deepest group, and they didn't play up to what they would say their potential. It's easy for us to say they didn't play well, but asking them, they'll say we didn't play well enough. That's what it comes down to.
And I think they all did.
Well, they were the most
for one guy.
Well, listen, we saw there's another thing. Don't let the TV to take you away from what really happened. Again, Isaac showed plays on national TV of him getting blown back. Did we see the other plays? They weren't featured here. Someone could have got blown back on every other play, but listen. Collinsworth jumps on someone, everybody jumps on someone because that's all you're watching. You're not watching the film. So I'd love to see how they all graded out.
They didn't break any runs, though. Between the two of them and Sanders and Howard, that's the point. So even if it wasn't all Sayamalu, the whole line was a culprit at one point.
I'm blaming the running backs. I'm not blaming the offensive line.
There are times in which Jordan Howard's running into somebody's back. Is that on Howard or Sayamalu? I'm asking. I just can't hear. That's why I'm yelling.
Well, Isaac did not play well. I think everybody else played up to their usual standard. And again, I always talk about context. People don't know how many bad offensive lines there are in this league. If you're going to complain about the Eagles' offensive line, you got to have 57 complaints before you get to that one compared to other teams in this league. Isaac did not play well. But when I look at this backfield from a talent perspective, and we don't talk about this often with this team because they're so good in so many places, they are bottom 10 in the league. They might be bottom 5. They do not have good running backs.
I disagree wholeheartedly. You have 2 Pro Bowlers and a second-round pick. You can make that work.
Darren's 36.
That's fine. He still flashes like a Pro Bowl type player. He has those flashes. You can't say that last week you weren't like, wow, he looks pretty good.
I mean,
week 1 they ran him nearly into the ground.
Yeah,
did he have a rush yesterday?
But this is not. No, he didn't. This is not a game where you stay in stasis because you were a Pro Bowler 10 years ago. Doesn't mean you're a Pro Bowler
Yeah, but he's
today.
got that type of talent.
And
I know
even
that.
Jordan Howard, look, the Eagles aren't using him. I believe that he should be the lead back. I
agree.
told you that.
We agree.
But the coaching staff doesn't agree with us.
But here's where I agree with you, John, completely. Miles Sanders is a draft pick. He's a young player. You don't have to try to groom him to be the heir apparent to Jordan Howard for next year. You have to win this year. Right? So you got Jordan Howard to win this year. Let's be honest. Right now, Jordan Howard's a better running back of the 2. Why are you force-feeding Miles Sanders and try to give him OJT, as we used to call it in shop class, on-the-job training? He's not ready, to me, to be the featured back.
I agree.
You put Jordan Howard in there and you pound him every time. That's the only way you're going to develop something. And then you spell Miles Sanders in there. You don't give him 2 carries and then bring Jordan Howard in for 1 carry.
By the way, Tony, with these receivers, when they're healthy, not last night, when everybody's out there, that's all they need from a running back.
Exactly.
That is all they need with all those weapons. And I don't understand. The Eagles seem obsessed, just like Miles Sanders when he runs the football. He's looking for a home run. Take the single.
It's really our world we live in today, the microwave society, right? And that's what I said. I said it when I joined the show with you guys first. I played with Jordan in Chicago. He's a volume back. He's going to run into the back of a guard one time and maybe fall for a yard. And you're going to be like, ooh, I don't know about this guy. Like last night, I don't know about this guy. He's a volume back. He really is. And that doesn't mean he gets better with every rep. It's just he's not the prettiest runner. He's not the shiftiest runner. He's a fall-forward guy, and you can't just put him in on 3rd and 1 and say, go get a yard. To me, that's unfair to him. You got to use him all the time. You got to be better in play action last night. Use Dillard as your blocking tight end in the play action pass game as well, and I think that's where they got lost in that as well. They were dropping him back too much. He got hit way too much.
And when you grind out those long drives, the 8-9-minute drives at the end of the game, you got to be able to run, too. You just can't go dink, 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 and dunk down the field. They have to establish a running game to make this whole team a Super Bowl contender again this year if they want to get there.
And the play action with Deshaun Jackson is just...
Not down with OJT, huh?
No, I'm not down with OJT. Yeah, you know me. I'm down with the food here at Landmark Americana.
Do you have something coming right now?
No, not yet.
Oh,
we will
okay.
after the show, though. Don't forget, we still have the Green Bay ticket chances to win to go to Green Bay in a week from Thursday. Eagles jerseys. It's all happening right here. Live every Thursday night, Landmark Americana. Tony Bruno and the gang on 97.3 ESPN. Stick around.
a great football experience, a great nightlife experience, or anything you want it to be, experience the Landmark Americana. It's the Monday night home of Bruno, Aton, and McMullen, presented by Corona and South Jersey's football home every Eagles game day.
How much time do we have?
Landmark Americana.
Yeah.
You'll know it when you get there, and you'll always remember it when you leave. Go to the Landmark
How much?
Americana in
Should you be hearing that?
This football season, who knows who you'll see?
Live from the Landmark Americana in the heart of South Jersey, it's Tony Bruno and Aton Shander. Get to the Landmark and you could win a pair of tickets to an Eagles game of your choice.
If you were to look at my call sheet this morning, you're going to see a lot of scratch outs on plays and different things. And, you know, one thing that I said after the game, too, is, you know, with Mike Rowe, Jeff Stoutland, my offensive staff, making the adjustments that we needed to make and then coaching those young guys up, you know, Mac Hollins, JJ. And what's interesting, if you watch the game as we did this morning, I mean, Zach is telling guys where to go. You know, Nelly's telling, we're moving guys. Our pieces are moving, and we're putting guys in positions that didn't practice in those positions during the week and still had a chance at the end of the game, took the lead and had a chance. So my hat's off to those guys for hanging in.
That's Dougie Peterson breaking it down. And he's right. We're in the nuts and bolts of the game presented by Tom Adams, Windows and Doors. Tom Adams, Windows and Doors. We've been pretty much nuts and bolts this whole show, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I'm going to have to get the ratchet out just to tighten these nuts and bolts down before we get out of here tonight.
You're an DIY guy.
Yes, I am. People were talking about Thompson's water seal. We're talking about Pete Thompson and all the other Thompsons and all the other stuff.
Shame on us for not bringing up Thompson's water seal.
Leah Thompson, my favorite.
Leah Thompson.
What's she been in most recently?
No.
Is she still working? Is Leah Thompson still active?
Maybe at the old folks' home.
Well, I mean, that doesn't count, you know.
That's pretty rough, John.
Yeah, seriously. I don't think she's old enough to be in the old folks' home.
I can say that.
Now, people are chiming in on the Twitch stream, too. EKT8750 says, Aton needs to smoke a bowl and relax about the Eagles, LOL. And then our buddy Steve in Detroit says, can you smoke a bowl for medicinal purposes? Absolutely.
In Pennsylvania, I can.
What about in Jersey? I don't know the laws over here.
It's kind of like the DraftKings FanDuel thing. It's a little different.
And finally, an interesting question. Now, I hate this kind of pressure because Mr. Monday Night's going to unsheath the Monday Night pick.
Man.
And BMC Nick 421 says, I got October's mortgage payment coming, Tony. When will Mr. Monday Night release the guaranteed winner? I got September's alimony payment.
This is easy tonight.
I don't know if it's easy, but I wouldn't put the mortgage on it or the alimony payment.
You've wrestled with this a little more than I thought, which gives me pause to think that because you hit last night, and as you do, Mr. Monday Night with the Raiders over the Broncos, and I thought coming in here tonight, guys, that Tony would just be casually discarding this game, Browns.
It looks
but you've
too
been
easy.
wrestling with this.
I have, because one of my and we're not going to give the pick yet, because we've got to massage this a little bit. We got to get everybody excited. Or should we do the pick right now?
It depends. I mean, what are we going to do after?
Well, we continue to have nuts and bolts.
Okay, just
you know what I'm
Do
saying?
the pick. You got to do it right now, Tony.
Yeah, we got to do the pick right
Hold the
now, ladies and
trigger.
gentlemen. Yeah, I can't hold it any longer, someone once said. As a teenage boy said on Saturday night about 11:30 in the parked car, it is time, ladies and gentlemen. You've been waiting for this.
Absolutely.
Is that what the teenager said? It is
You've
time.
been waiting all Monday for Monday night. Well, maybe you haven't. You were waiting all night Sunday for a win, and then you couldn't sleep all Sunday night. And you got up Monday and you were miserable all day.
A lot of people took the Eagles last night, -2, -1, and I think it closed.
Not this
if they
reporter.
listen to Tony Bruno and I.
We had it. I think Luigi had it.
I'm the only one.
John McMullen had it. And you know me, people call me a homer. I just saw, I thought Atlanta would find a way to win the game, and they did. If the Eagles had won, I wouldn't have been outraged.
Atlanta didn't find a way to win the game. The Eagles found a way to not execute in the red zone.
I agree, but
All right,
they
well,
still
then
won
we're
the
back
game.
to blaming Aguilar and Ertz, Colin.
Exactly. You're going to go back to that
You
now?
want to open up that door again? I'm happy to.
Let's move on, Tony.
Meanwhile, tonight, you're looking at this game and you're saying, man, these two teams stink out loud.
Well, one of them
have
does,
said
right?
that. Well, you know, the
other
Jets,
one, I think Cleveland does a pretty good job of masking their smell. Like, you got to get up close.
Yeah.
If the quarterback wasn't hurt for the Jets or out with mono, it'd be a way different story. This game would have some pretty serious ratings.
Remember now, last week, they were up 14-0 at home on the Buffalo Bills and let that one get away from them. So at least they've shown
Adam Gase for you.
Adam Gase. So but now, of course, they don't have their
Mr.
quarterback.
Mono.
They got Mr. Mono, Trevor Simeon's the quarterback tonight.
And that's it. Mr. Monday Night's not going to pick Mr. Mono.
Well, Mr. Mono's out.
Mr. Mono's out.
But his team.
No, here's the thing. One of the things I've always done to earn this moniker of Mr. Monday Night, you just don't get, you don't proclaim yourself.
This isn't Deion Sanders proclaiming himself
No,
prime
you
time.
earn it.
Got it.
You earn it over decades, not just a couple of good seasons. Decades. My mantra was always, it's hard to bet against a home team dog on a Monday night. And let's be honest, that stadium in New Jersey, they haven't seen a home team win the first 2 weekends, right? The Jets haven't won there. The Giants have lost a game there. The Jets about to lose 2 there. The Buffalo Bills have won more games in New Jersey than they have in Buffalo. Or the New York teams have won in New York, or anywhere else for that matter. But I still, as much as I'm tempted to take the Jets.
Okay, yes. There it is.
I hate to lay the number, but I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns and lay the 6.5. That may come back to haunt me. That's why I'm a little hesitant. So I wouldn't bet the mortgage, the kids, the car check, the payments, Bernie Sanders' tuition that your kids are going to get paid once he's president. Odell's a down payment on Odell's $350,000 watch. I wouldn't bet the Swatch watch.
No.
I wouldn't bet the Apple Watch. You have an Apple Watch? Who wears one here?
Nobody. You're good company. You can rip one.
I'm going to give you guys a roaring round of applause. If I see one more moron, again, I don't want to call them morons. You can do whatever you want. One more person wearing an Apple Watch to work out or anything else. Who's got an Apple Watch?
Nobody.
Krause?
Are you saying that if anybody out here has an Apple Watch, they're disqualified from the contest?
No.
Where does your hatred lie for the Apple Watch?
No, I don't have. I just don't like wearing watches anymore.
It sounds like you have some disdain, some built-in
No,
disdain
watches
for it.
are out to me. Nobody uses watches anymore.
You don't need a watch. You got
you got your phone.
Well, watches are like a fashion accessory right now.
Yes.
It's like a chain or jewelry, something like that you'd wear now.
Instead of a common item.
And I had a lot of watches. I have a box of watches that I've had forever.
I got a box.
Well, what are you going to do with those? Sell them?
I'm going to hawk them. I'm going to put them. I'm going to go over to that guy who says, I'll buy watches. I had a bunch of, when I was in LA, I got all these gigantic watches from this great watch company. They're worth like $2,000.
Well, I'll take one.
Yeah.
No, I already gave them away.
Okay.
But it's like, why do I need a watch the size of Big Ben on my wrist? Seriously, not Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, the Big Ben, the clock in London.
Trust me, you wouldn't fit the size of Big Ben's face. You would need 6 wrists at that point.
Anyway, you can wear whatever you want. I'm just having fun here. But the bottom line is, I think Cleveland's a better football team. I think their coach is already on the hot seat. I don't think Adam Gase is on the hot seat. He's got a lot of built. He should be, but he's got a lot of built-in excuses. I mean, obviously, his defensive coordinator, whether you like him or not, is a guy who shouldn't be in the league, in my opinion. The fact that this guy's still coaching after what happened, and then he has the audacity to say to Odell Beckham Jr., hey, you know what, who are you? You know, basically saying you're not an elite receiver after Beckham accused him of going after him when he was with the Giants a couple of years ago. You remember that?
They hit the low hit. On the jump football, yeah.
And who ordered that hit? A guy who was thrown out of the league for putting bounties on players.
Unbelievable. You can't go from bounties to code reds.
No, you can't.
Code red?
That's a bad.
You got a code red on there?
Do you have did you order the code red?
No, I don't have a code red.
You don't have that.
The code
you don't
red.
have Tom Cruise?
I don't have that in my. No, I don't have a code
Your
red in there.
GD right I did with Jack
No,
Nicholson?
I don't have that on there.
That's fine.
I got to load some more stuff here. I got a lot of stuff.
Well, I don't know how often a code red comes up, though. I mean, to be fair.
No, that's a great drop.
Last night it came up a little bit, but all I say
Not
is
Mountain Dew code red.
all I
Nobody's
say to
drinking that.
everybody else is just relax. You know what I'm saying?
So your pick is in.
Yes, just
Browns minus 6.5.
use your common sense, as R. Kelly once said. Use your common sense.
I don't think R. Kelly uses his
I think
common
you
sense.
might need to expunge the R.
Exactly.
Kelly drops.
Bottom line is I'm going to
Not.
take the Cleveland Browns. I hate going against a home team underdog, especially getting 6.5 at home. That could wind up, biting me in the butt. But I'm taking the Cleveland. Put the code red up, Josh, back in the studio. Put it.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Boom. There you go. There's
Son,
your
we
code.
live in a world that has walls,
That's
and those
Beckham.
walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's gonna do it? You? You, Lieutenant Weinberg?
I have a greater responsibility than you
Josh
can
has got the
possibly
whole
fathom.
movie here.
Yeah, well,
You
this is
weep
what
for
happens now. You
Santiago
open up the
and
door.
You curse the Marines.
Yes.
You have that luxury. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know. That Santiago's death, while tragic, probably saved lives.
You know who's going to take your guns? Beto O'Rourke's going to take your guns, soldier. That was good, though. I love that.
Yeah.
Good work,
I didn't.
Josh.
I always forget. Thank you, Josh.
We
Back
have
in
to
the
use
studio.
that more, the code red.
Not the whole thing, though.
No.
You just need to get the good.
Did
part.
you order the code red? You should be right, I did. That's it. This is a snippet.
Although you can't handle the truth is good, too.
Oh, yeah, but that will come up more organically, somebody not handling the truth.
Exactly.
As opposed to somebody ordering a hit.
I don't know.
Hits don't usually come organically.
Probably that's the only line from the movie I actually remember, because I'm not one of these guys who, there's only like 5 or 6 movies that I know lines from, and they're usually like the ones that everybody's seen.
I don't think there is a more. Are there any
Caddyshack.
other famous lines from that movie?
I don't think so. Not that I know.
For me, it's got to be Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
Wedding Crashers for the younger
No,
age.
not Wedding Crashers to me.
Oh,
I got to
that
go
is full
all the Mel Brooks movies.
Yeah,
because
those highly quotable.
The Airplane movies. Airplane, Naked
Gun, highly quotable.
the classics. The really
Fletch, highly quotable.
Yeah, you got to have highly quotable movies. Giving me some fringe movie from the 80s that very few people have seen. You expect me to know dialogue from that movie? Seriously. Who's going to know dialogue from those movies?
Better Off Dead?
Better Off Dead?
Yeah, that's giving you an example.
Yeah.
John Cusack.
That's a good movie.
Wow.
Better Off
That's
Dead.
a pull. Yeah, it's a good movie, but I feel like that's what Tony's describing right now.
See, you probably know like all the lines to the Godfather movies, right?
No,
I don't.
That's a lot.
I never
that would
watch
take-
any of the guy. I hate mob movies, so don't ask me to quote The Sopranos or The Godfather or any of the other mob movies.
The only Sopranos reference I'd give you is the Markel Fultz no-show job. That's it. That's where I start and end.
I'm a big Sopranos guy.
I figured you would be, Colin.
But I'm not a huge mobster, like movie guy per se, but Sopranos is like a whole nother can of
No,
worms.
that's not good. When a chick can't parallel park in the city, she's lost it. When you can't parallel park, you really have no business having a television show. Sorry. You got to learn how to parallel park and live in a city, man.
Pretty low bar to set.
I'm confused. Who does it? What does that have to do with Sopranos?
That was the big final episode,
That was
right?
the
Meadow
final
Soprano
episode.
couldn't parallel park a car.
Oh, yeah,
She would have
right.
saved his life.
Yeah.
Then it ended abruptly, and everybody.
Yeah, so that's why I never watched it. I knew the ending would suck.
Fade to black.
Exactly.
True.
Meanwhile, we're coming back here. One good thing, we'll tell you who will be making more appearances at Eagles games in the very near future when we come back. We're live, Landmark Americana, Tony Bruno, Eitan Shander, John McMullen, and the great Colin Mafioso Thompson.
We got to stop saying the great.
On 97.3 ESPN.
You can't touch this. Can't touch this. My music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me. What am I to rhyme and too hype? It feels good when you know you're down. A super dope homeboy from the Oak Town, and I'm known as such. And this is a beat you can't touch. I told you, homeboy, you can't touch this. Yeah, that's how we living, and you know you can't touch this. Look in my eyes, man, you can't touch this. Yo, let me bust the funky lyrics. Fresh new kicks and bands, you got it like that. Now you know you wanna dance, so move out of your seat and get a fire girl and catch this beat while it's rolling. Hold on, pump a little bit and let the noise go on like that, like that. Hold on a minute, just fall on back, let them know that you're too much, and this is a beat they can't touch. Yo, I told you can't touch this. Why you standing there, man? You can't touch this. Yo, sound the bell, school is in, sucker. You can't touch this. Give me a song, a rhythm, making them sweat. That's what I'm giving them now. They know. You talk about the hammer, you're talking about a show that's hot and tight. Singles are sweating so fast, them a white or a tape. To learn what it's gonna take in the 90s to burn the charts. Legit. Either work hard or you might as well quit. That's word because you know you can't touch this. You can't touch this. Break it down. touch this. Look, man, you can't touch this. You better get a hype, boy, cause you know you can't touch this. Ring the bell, school's back in. Break it down. Stop. Hammer time. Touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. Break it down. Stop. Hammer time. Every time you see me, the hammer's just no hype. I'm no and I'm magic on the mic. Now why would I ever stop doing this when others making records that just don't hit? I tour around the world, from London to the Bay. It's hammer, go hammer, empty hammer, yo hammer, and the rest can go and play. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Does he have anything left?
And no.
Blame it on the goose, got you feeling loose. Blame it on the throne, got you in the zone. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the.
Anything on with
I
you,
just took
people
Metamucil
watching,
every day
and there's
for
somebody
14
out there that
days.
knows
It's
what's
really
going on.
that
I know.
It's
easy.
amazing. man.
Metamucil traps and removes the
Amazing.
waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more
Oh,
energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily
No, they just
support,
turned
sign
off
up
the
at
music.
Metamucil.com
That's
today. Available at Walmart and Walmart.com.
That's
You're in
Mayfair
charge of
Murph.
hiring,
Mayfair
and
Murph
Indeed has
checking in.
solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. We'll also have a dolphin chatter excitedly in front of the perfect candidate.
Tennessee or Florida?
Okay.
In
No,
the
I got-
heart
I
of
got
South
Gators. I like
Jersey,
the new
it's
quarterback they
Tony
got in.
Bruno and Eitan Shander. Get to the Landmark, and you could win a pair of tickets to an
Got a
Eagles
great
game of
college
your
football slate
choice.
this weekend too, by the way.
Yeah, kind of route, 10-yard route. Came back to the ball, should have ran it a little deeper. Just knowing the situation, really disappointed in myself. Obviously, the team counts on me to make a play on 4th down. Had plenty of time, just kind of a little short.
Hammer time. Oh, see, I woke everybody up at the bar. The PA is hot. Lower that PA a little bit, man. Come on. I don't want people getting mad at me. I just gave them the Monday night pick absolutely free. They should be happy. We got the Monday night game coming up. It's Tony Bruno and the gang live here at Landmark Americana on a Monday night, where we are every week.
This is awesome, man.
And don't forget, the crowd is starting to swell now for the game. And it's a swell crowd, too, if you look at it. And there's an outdoor bar out there. It's still a beautiful night out. Still warm out, nice. Supposed to cool off later, almost autumnal. But it is, after all, the middle of September, boys. But tonight, once again, 2 people will be eligible to go to Green Bay a week from Thursday when the Eagles go out there. Remember, they play the Lions on Sunday here. Then they go out to Green Bay on a short week next Thursday. And somebody from this establishment, as I like to call it, this establishment is going to win 2 tickets to Green Bay to get into Lambeau Field, and also hotel accommodations. We've added that tonight to the prize package.
Insane.
And then also tonight you're going to win an Eagles salute to the troops, camouflage Carson Wentz, and a Zach Ertz camo jersey.
You're guaranteed.
You're guaranteed to get that, and then you get a chance to be one of the 6 people who next week. So we had 2 people last week who won. 2 people tonight will win, and then finally next Monday night, the final 2 contestants. And then next Thursday, or actually next Monday night, of the 6 contestants, 1 winner will get 2 tickets to Green Bay to go to Lambeau Field.
And we continue to give, Tony.
We're givers.
It's that's all we do, Colin. If you can't make it out tonight, right, you got Thursday with Tony and Harry. You got Sunday again with Tony. John will be at the game.
Yep.
They'll just be constant. So come out and see us wherever you are. All the venues are fantastic. The food everywhere we've been has been great.
Awesome sauce. By the way, 91.6 says the crowd's starting to swell, kind of like Harry and Eitan's Chubb segment earlier today. Now, I mixed that. Not Nick Chubb. Were you talking about, you were talking about Nick Chubb?
It actually was. I asked him if he's all chubbed up. That was the tease to go into the next segment. Because it was to bring up how that you could play these captains in these daily fantasy leagues. And I'm using Chubb as my captain tonight. So I asked him, are you all chubbed up? And he looked at me, he's like, no, and I'm staying as far away from you as humanly possible.
But I mentioned before we went to break, fellas, that there will be another staple at Eagles home games for the rest of the season.
Now, is this a player?
This is a player, but not a football player.
Oh, so the Eagles aren't going out and signing?
No, they are not signing all these other.
Are we breaking the Jalen Ramsey news?
No, this is not.
That's what I thought.
No, I'm not breaking Jalen.
Minkah Fitzpatrick.
No, not Minkah Fitzpatrick.
What about Minka Grimes or what's
Minka Kelly?
Minka Kelly.
Minka Kelly.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jalen Ramsey has announced he wants to be traded, and now everybody thinks the Eagles are going to go out and get him, or that's what happens. You know that, or they should get him, and they need him desperately. The point is, Mike Trout, ladies and gentlemen, his baseball season is over for your Los Angeles, Anaheim, Disneyland adjacent Angels. He's going to have foot surgery. So you think he's going to stick around out there in Anaheim where the weather's nice, or come back and get in his comfortable seat once he has his foot surgery and sit down there and wait for Nelson Aguilar to hand him another touchdown ball this year? And I asked John, how many Nelson Aguilar touchdown balls will be brought over to Mike Trout when the Eagles score as he's in the home seats again this season?
My over-under was 2. I was curious as to why.
I thought it was 6.5.
No.
That's where I'd set it.
That's what Tony put it at. But why Nelson Aguilar? Why isn't it Zach Ertz?
He's got a history. Nelson has a proven, this is
but I'm saying
a research take right here.
If you want touchdowns, you're not getting more than 2
But
from
it's
Nelson.
the connect. Tony will tell you there is a proven connection for some reason of Nelson Aguilar going out of his way to identify the seat in which Mike Trout is sitting, only to hand that ball over, John.
First of all, it's not hard to identify. We've all identified that seat. Everybody in the building knows where he is. So my point is, if you want touchdowns, don't go with Nelson. But I hear what you're saying. And it's got to be Carson. Why doesn't Carson bring it over?
Well, he is going to bring it over.
Yeah.
And so will Zach Ertz.
I just don't think it's I just don't see him. I know he's an Eagles super fan. I don't see him sitting in an Eagles seat until that baseball season is officially over.
He's a professional.
He's a professional. You can't go down there.
You can't abandon
boot,
your
a crutch.
What's he going to do? Go sit in the dugout with a boot on?
Yeah, you do that when you get paid.
How many games are left?
9 or 10.
10.
Yeah.
If you're Mike Trout,
he's got to be a professional.
He is a professional. He's one of the greatest players ever.
That's what I mean.
I'm joking, obviously, but I just want to know,
I know. He's going to stay with his team to the bitter end.
Yeah, he will.
I would bail. Get the hell out of there.
I would get the hell out, too, but I'm not a professional anymore.
That's
now,
true.
if I was Mike Trout and I was making $1 gazillion and I'm the best player in baseball, and I had to suffer another season where I'm not even going to taste a playoff or maybe never taste a World Series championship as long as I stay in Anaheim, and you're a good soldier because they drafted you and you're loyal to the team and you keep going back when they offer you money, and you don't keep saying like a lot of NFL players and basketball players, get me somewhere where I can win a World Series, right?
Like San Antonio.
We won't be able to tell his story I won't be able to tell him to my kids because I don't see him on TV.
Exactly.
He's buried.
Except in commercials.
He's buried out there.
Is there any other sport where you can be the best player in it and routinely not make the playoffs? I know Aaron Rodgers started started all 16 last year. They didn't make the playoffs. It was a disappointment. But that's an anomaly more so, way more than not in the NFL, right? NBA, forget it, out the window. Hockey, usually the best players on the ice.
Yep.
Their teams are making the playoffs at the very least. That's what I'm saying. Like, go even outside. I don't follow EPL or the Professional Bowling League enough, but I imagine like the best of the best, especially team
They're always
sports,
on TV.
except for baseball. It's the one sport that you get penalized.
You're absolutely right, Eitan. You're absolutely right.
Because
Mike Trout is clearly the best player in baseball and has been for
Has
what,
been for
5,
a long
6, 7
time
years.
It's a sport of pitching, right? Unless you're the ace pitcher, and then you have a decent team around you. Like it's say you're the best player in baseball and you're a pitcher, you got a better shot.
Or you're the Yankees.
Yeah.
If he was on the Yankees, they would be on every night, not just when they play the Red Sox every week.
They'd be part of they'd be part of the ESPN package.
Exactly.
ESPN Yankee.
Yeah. ESPN Plus. Yankees. They make the playoffs.
ESPN Bronx.
ESPN the Bronx.
Yeah.
Not Fort Apache the Bronx, which was a great movie back in the day.
Now, who was in that movie?
There you know.
Paul Newman. Wasn't Paul Newman in Fort Apache the Bronx? Come on, man. That's bad Bronx
I'm 40
knowledge.
years old. I don't know this.
Come on.
That is bad Bronx knowledge by
you don't
me.
have to be, by the way, you don't have to be around to know, like, the classics.
Well, no, but I'm saying that sounds like it's not a classic. That sounds like more of your era's Better Off Dead.
No, this is better than Better Off Dead. It was about a police department which was a war zone.
Right.
Sort of like they are now, unfortunately.
yeah.
Fast forward now from back there.
Was it Jerome Avenue?
No, it wasn't.
Where did they shoot this?
Now, by the way.
The Bronx.
Yeah, in the Bronx.
Well, Jerome.
Actually, they were going to shoot it in the Bronx. It was too dangerous. They had to take it to a soundstage somewhere where no one would get hurt in the actual filming of the movie.
That was in Camden.
No, they filmed it in Camden.
What do you have here? Oh, we're getting bartenders getting some love here.
Where's the bartender getting love?
On the Twitch channel. Second to last there.
Bartenders.
She's cute.
Is cute.
They're all cute here.
Well, yeah, but I mean, where are we getting
Which one?
that?
The one with the Eagles jersey or the one with the black? I mean, there's a lot of cute bartenders here.
Lot
And
of
they're all
love.
working hard for you, so don't forget to take care of them on the way out tonight.
Yes, she is. I think she's a ginger.
She is a ginger.
Here we go.
Robin knows how to track the gingers.
That's right.
We're coming right back. Stick around. One more big. We're coming up near the end of the show
Already,
Can
man.
you feel it?
You have
As
any
I
more
said
picks to
yesterday,
give out?
I got my loins are girding, and I said that yesterday, and people thought I was wrong. I was correct again. Trevor Siemian looks ready to go. He's smiling for the camera. He's all ready. Monday Night Football coming right around the corner. Tony Bruno and the gang live here at Landmark Americana. Monday Night Football countdown to kickoff. Stick around. We're going to wrap this baby up in just a few minutes.
Hour number.
Something in the way she moves. Baby, when I think about you, I think about love. Darling, I don't live without you and your love. If I had those golden dreams of my yesterday, I would wrap you in the heaven, but really dying on the way. Feel like making love. Feel like making love. Feel like making love. Feel like making love to you. Baby, if I think about you, I think about love. Darling, if I live without you, I live without love.
to an Eagles game of your choice.
You're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Just
Sorry,
lean back right here.
Hit it, Tony.
Lean back.
I got my first jingling of the night. We're getting close to kickoff, ladies and gentlemen.
You'll be leaning a lot back.
I got my lean-to in the backyard. I got the diamond in the back, the sunroof top. I'm digging the scene with the gangster lean. Tony, Eitan, John, and Colin. Let's clink glasses here. Great staff.
Thank you.
We want to thank everybody here at Landmark, and of course the bar staff. Domenica, Anna, Francesca, working hard on the front bar, and then in the outside bar there, you got Caitlin, Stephanie, and Abby working hard, and then the managers Jay and Sean in the house tonight. Where's my boy Joy?
What's that?
Where's my boy Sean? He's been here for a long time, right? Jay's been here for years.
I was going to say long time, like he was here at 4 a.m. or?
No. Jay's been here. Last time I came here, like 6 years ago, Jay was here. He's been here a long time. 8 years. Jay in the house here at Landmark Americana.
Good sign. It means things are running well.
Absolutely. So it's going to be fun here tonight. Now, you guys excited about this game? You got Jamal Adams
I got a lot
in the
of
house.
money on it, so yeah.
I think
everything's about you, Eitan. Everything's about you.
Well, no, but think about it.
What's a lot of money?
Like think about this. Well, I mean, I don't want to get into that.
it has created more interest.
Yesterday, think about this. If you did not have any money at all on yesterday's Patriots-Dolphins game, you probably didn't even watch it. But
Correct.
if you had $100 on the Dolphins plus 18, you watched as much of that game as humanly possible.
Nah, at least until the third quarter, then you knew it was over.
Okay, that's as humanly possible, right?
No, but sports gambling has up viewership big time. I wish I had the
Yeah.
stat on me right now.
Because you can bet on everything.
Yes.
And now everything's in everything has value now.
And people stay longer. You could bet. I mean, it's not my thing, but you could bet throughout the game.
Yeah, you can get a fourth quarter number. And, the thing about the NFL, they accepted fantasy before they accepted gambling. And listen, that's great that they accepted fantasy.
Yeah.
But then when they finally realized that no matter what you do, no matter how much you try to say that gambling's not important, don't give out the point spreads on ESPN or in the newspapers,
right?
People were betting no matter what. So it's like drugs, you're going to make marijuana legal, people are going to buy it illegally. If you don't, they're still going to gamble illegally, but now you got a chance to bet on these games. If you can bet on everything else, if you can bet on lottery tickets, 50,000 scratch-offs every day and everything else, why can't you bet on football?
You're right. Although I'll say this, one thing I've noticed with both marijuana and gambling,
what?
The legalization of both means higher costs because somebody needs to get paid.
Of
Exactly.
course.
Exactly
And
right.
but it's a great conversation to have until you're the one that's paying more on juice or a bag. That's all I'm saying. I'll leave it at that.
I don't do juice or bags.
Well, you don't do the juicer?
Except cornhole. The only bags I throw is cornhole.
But that's why the NFL has been so slow with gambling and has always lobbied against it.
Yep.
Because unless they get their cut, they don't care.
Yep. But they realized that they had to allow it. And
Oh,
once
sure.
they
At some
embraced
point.
fantasy
and
leagues,
now they're trying to figure out how do we get our cut.
And then the players are going to want to know how do they get their cut as well. Not cut out of the actual winning. But you know what I'm saying.
Yes. Of the money generated.
There will be a
And
lockout
by the way,
because
have a
of that.
problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
exactly right. Gambling
Was
problem?
that to me?
1-800-GAMBLER. Did you write
Nick,
that down?
that's the
McMullen was like
audience.
leaning over talking to me like, hey,
that's-
Shander, 1-800-GAMBLER.
That's the audience.
I'm already being asked on
you always
Twitch how
have
much
to
do I
say
owe
that.
my bookie.
You always have to say that PSA.
It's great.
Only
John is
John,
keeping
only if
us
they're
together.
paying you do you have
I
to say
know.
that.
I know.
All
You
right?
know what? But John is.
It's a joke, Eitan. But thank you.
That's got to be a drop. It's not all about you, Eitan. Can we get that on the Josh? We got to figure that out how to get that so Harry can press that button during the.
We don't do
A's
that.
and Eitan show.
See, we're at the mercy of Tony has taken full
Josh can
control
hit
of
that
the
button.
show.
Yeah, Josh.
I'm controlling the horizontal and the vertical.
That's right.
And hopefully these teams go vertical tonight.
And the
Who
ladder.
said that? Dick
Because-
Vitale?
Because nobody, no, that was the old Al Davis.
Al Davis.
The quarterback's got to go vertical.
30
No,
seconds.
with the controlling of the horizontal end of
No, that was the twilight and the outer limits. At the beginning of the outer limits, we will control all that you see and hear, like we
20
just did for
seconds.
2 hours. Thank everybody. Josh back in the studio. John McMullen, Colin Thompson, Eitan Shander. I'm Tony Bruno, Joe Krause, Nick,
10
Miss
seconds.
Robin. We'll see you back here on. We'll see you Thursday night at Screwballs for Thursday night football
5,
with me.
right here on 97.3 ESPN. Enjoy the game, everybody.
1.
The Monday Night Football Countdown to Kickoff Show with Tony Bruno, Eitan Shander, John McMullen, Colin Thompson, and Joe Kraus, a Jacob Media Sports presentation.
You did it, Matt Latke.